I do not know how we are talking about the end of the year already, but here we are. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brie and this is 4 Paws in a Book. Today we are doing the end of year book tag. I do not normally do tags. I have not done tags on my channel in a long time, but I feel like this is a really good bookend and that's what we're going to do. So I am sitting here at my computer. I'm actually crocheting and I thought we're gonna have like a little bit of a chatty video today, and I'm gonna crochet, I'm gonna answer the questions. Editing me is probably really gonna hate this because I'm not gonna go get any of the book. We'll figure it out in editing. So yeah, I'm gonna crochet. I am very behind on my genre blanket. I am still working on stuff from June. It's October, so that's really fun, but I don't like crocheting a lot in the summer. It's hot and also the dogs are shedding, and so then there's dog hair all over it. There's still dog hair all over it, but not quite as much. And so I feel like I can now crochet. And so that's what I've been doing a lot over the past couple of days, and so that's what we're gonna do today. So this is a tag that was created by Ariel Bassett. This is like a classic OG booktube tag. While it's called the end of the year book tag, it's actually not meant for you to do at the very end of the year. It's meant for you to do it as you transition into the last portion of the year. There's questions like, what do you need to do by the end of the year? You know, an autumnal book, that kind of stuff. And so it's not really meant to be a late November book tag. It's meant to be an October book tag. So that's what we're doing today. I'll link the original tag if it's still public. I'm also taking the questions off of Murphy's, and so I'll link her video as well. She posted hers last week and it reminded me, oh yeah, I need to do this. So the first question is, are there any books that you started this year that you need to finish? And I'm not one that actually like will keep books on my currently reading forever. Like it's just not something that I do. I'm like, most of the time it's because I'm reading books for content and that content has to come out, so I need to finish the book. Sometimes when a book is not for content, it will get stuck in my currently reading for a while because I have to put it down. And that is what's happening with one book that is still on my currently reading, and that is Promise of the Betrayer's Dagger by J. Talsqual. I am actively listening to this, but the entire audiobook has not actually been finished. I was blessed, privileged with the Google Drive of the chapters of the audiobook from Jay, which is really cool. Like, I'm important enough to get that Google Drive, what? But it's not finished. And I also have to listen to it like on my computer because Google Drive and iPhones just like do not work together. And you have to like download one, and then it's a whole process, and I'm ADHD, so like I just need to sit down and do it. And it hasn't been for a video, so I haven't had a chance to actually, you know, finish it. So that's the only one that I'm like actively still reading, I guess, other than like books that I have picked up in the last couple of days. My chair is being so squeaky and I really hope that you can't pick that up. But anyways, the second book is, do you have an autumnal book to transition you into the end of the year? I do. I mean, it's spooky season. I did do one spooky season vlog already, and then I'll have another one that's coming out like closer to Halloween. But I also am very much in my romantasy era, and while I'm still trying to like have horror content because it's spooky season and that's what the people want to see, and also like I do love reading horror, that's not my bread and butter. Romantasy has become my bread and butter this year. It's by far the like biggest genre that I have read, even though it's not really a genre, it's a subgenre, whatever, that's a whole nother conversation. It's something that I've read a lot of this year and I've loved a lot this year. So I'm very much in my romantasy era, and I feel like there are some romantasy books that I'm really interested in. One Dark Window I feel like is giving fall, autumn, kind of like November vibes. So this might be like a November book. Phantasma is another one that very much screams October and spooky season. Woven by Gold is the second book in the Beast of the Briar series. Bonded by Thorns is the first book, and I think I actually might reread the first book. I read it at the very beginning of the year. I think for like a 72-hour vlog. I'll link it up above, whatever one that I read. I remember enjoying it, but I don't remember a lot of the book, and now everyone's talking about the series. I don't know why, but everyone's talking about the series, and I cannot remember what happened in the first book, so I kind of want to reread the first one and then just go straight into the second one. But the second one, like, the cover is giving fall. Question number 3 is there still a new release that you are excited for? I feel like the majority of my quarter 4 releases were early October, so there's not a ton left, but let me pull up my notes because I know there are some. Hexed by Emily McIntyre is part of her Never After series. This is a Little Mermaid retelling, and I've seen the pictures of the ARC copies, and she chonky, so excited about that. I'm in Emily's group chat on Instagram, like her broadcast channel, and she likes to share stuff with us, which is fun. I'm really sad because she's doing a little bit of a tour, but nowhere near Utah because we never get to fund romance authors. Go figure. The other one that I think is going to be like on everybody's list of books that you're still waiting for is The Songbird and the Heart of Stone by Carissa Broadbent, the third book in the Crowns of Nyaxia series. I guess it's not really the Crowns of Nyaxia. It is a new book in, like, she's doing a series of duologies. I've talked about this before, which I'm excited about. I love that. And so this starts a new series. It's in the same world, but it follows new characters. And I love Carissa's writing. I love this world, and I'm very excited to see more in that series. So those are probably the two that I'm still excited about. I think everything else at this point has pretty much come out as far as ones that like either I've pre-ordered or I definitely want to get a hold of. Question number 4 is name 3 books that you want to read before the end of the year. That is a rude question. Three books? What? I mean, here's the thing. I am reading so much for content. And so I feel like that's kind of a cop-out to say that like these are the books that I want to read, but like they're just for vlogs. So let's find 3 books that I don't currently have videos for that I want to read. I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to do 4, but 2 of them are in the same series. And so it just makes more sense because I really want to continue on with Glow of the Everflame and Heat of the Everflame, the second and third book in that series, to get caught up. I think Burn of the Everflame is supposed to come out before the end of the year. So I would love to be able to read it with everybody, but I can't do that if I've only read 1 book. The second one is going to be The Marriage Act by John Mars. This is the last book that I need to read in this kind of the series of like his social experiments that all kind of take place in the same universe. Yes, I read them out of order. It's fine. But I've read The Passengers, and then The Family Experiment, and I need to go back and read The Marriage Act. It's not my last book that I need to read of his. There are some other ones, but these are all, they're not in this series, but they are kind of companions, and so I want to knock that one out. And then the last one, and the only reason why is because it's on my mind because I just filmed my book haul, and this one just sounds so good, but that's Mistress of Lies. This is like, it's got a stabby main character, it's vampires, it's political, and it just has a lot of buzzwords that I feel like I'm going to love. That's 4 books that I want to read before the end of the year, but we'll count it. It's fine. It's just a stretch. Question number 5 is there a book that you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? Here's the thing. I don't know what could topple House of Bane and Blood and City of Mirth and Malice. Like, that book is perfection. Like, I would not change a single moment of that book other than I wish I could go back and read it again for the first time. I don't know if anything could beat out that. However, that book came out of nowhere. I didn't know that book existed until I picked it up, or the week before I picked it up when it was on Cassidy's vlog. So like, yes, there is the possibility that something else that I just don't know exists could come out and be better. Sure, I guess so. Do I think it's likely? No, I don't. Which, you know, ends up making my end of year content pretty boring because I've just given you the answer. But I guess you can just stick around for the other 9 books. But yeah, I mean, it's possible. Knowing the synopsis of books on the shelf, do I think that it's gonna happen? No, I don't. But I also found my favorite book of last year very late into the year as well. And I think it was like while reading the Goodreads Choice Awards. And so, sure, there's a possibility. And then finally, have you already started making reading plans for next year? Yeah, maybe a little bit. And the fact is that I haven't really made a lot of I've made plans to not make plans, if that makes sense. I feel like I niched myself way down this year, not in terms of genre or anything like that, because I do love romantasy, and I love that I'm like finding this about myself. I love that I'm able to make videos about that, but I found that I I did way too much for content, and I also did way too many like collaborations and buddy reads and stuff like that. So there's gonna be less of that next year, I think. And I just don't want to put pressure on myself. I feel like I didn't put as much pressure in one area. Like I didn't make a reading goal this year, and I loved that. But I also like ended up putting other, you know, reading stipulations and things like that. And I don't want to do that. I want to read because I love it. And that it's a little bit of a source of income, but it's not like I don't want to treat it as a job. Does that make sense? So there's like, that's my reading plans. I have some reading project plans, for sure. Obviously we are starting the idea process of Amazing Readathon to come back next year in June. So I probably should get past the ideation phase, but they're percolating. They're percolating. But they're nowhere concrete yet, that's for sure. And then I'm also thinking about doing something like a year-long project for my Patreon, that people will like collect things. I don't know how that's gonna work yet, but that there's an idea, again, percolating, that I want to explore. I don't know, we'll see. But those are all very vague. They're not like reading specific, they're just reading adjacent, I guess. So yeah, yes and no. I guess that was like a very vague answer. And that's it. That's the tag. It's very short. There's 6 questions. I have a ton of plans for end of year content. Obviously we are nowhere close to that yet. I mean, we are, but my end of year content usually takes place kind of the last week of December, last like 10 days of December into about the first 10 days of January, because there are some things that I can do before the actual end of the year. But on more than one occasion, I have found a book that ended up in my top 10 of the year on New Year's Eve. So I never filmed that one until New Year's Day. But other than that, like the content will kind of happen over that 2 or 3 week period. But if you have any ideas for actual end of year content that you want to see from me, please let me know down below. I'm always on the hunt for new and exciting videos for the end of the year. End of the year content is my favorite time as a booktube creator, as a booktube watcher. I love setting goals and like just resetting everything. So, but we've got to close out 2024 first, so let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Also, if you're feeling chatty, let me know if you've started making reading plans for next year. I can't believe we're already talking about that. Like how? If you are not feeling chatty, do a clock emoji or a calendar emoji, something like that. If you want to check out more of my videos, I'm going to have a recent one right here that YouTube thinks that you're going to like. And if you're new here and you have not yet subscribed, there's a little button that you can do so down below the video. If you'd like to hang out with me more, the links to my Instagram, Goodreads, Twitter, and my Patreon are linked in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!